Hello everyone, it's Decklist. Today we are playing very exciting Zoo Riddler brew, with which I did extremely good lately. I had a total score of 26-7 and I also got a trophy in one of the leagues, and most of the losses I got were due to my own mistakes, like misclicks or some misplays, and the deck performance were absolutely mind-blowing, and this was one of the best things I tried in Zoo since like the Zoo scam where the grief was illegal and stuff like that. Okay, so what is this deck about? So we got Quantum Riddler and Phelia and Consign, let's say, are unusual cards. So Quantum Riddler is very good in Zoo on its own, since you can empty your hand quite easily, come down to one card in hand or two cards, then play Riddler, draw two cards, maybe play a land and remove a spell, then trigger Kavu and then throw two cards again. So it can provide a significant card advantage in a single turn, and then on a turn or two or three later you can play this guy for 5 mana and draw cards again and have this large flying threat on the field. The important thing I think in this build is having 2 Arena of Glory, where you can often just Arena of Glory or Quantum Riddler for 2 mana and draw 2 cards, but also hit your opponent for 4 damage flying. That is insane in a Zoo build. Arena of Glory is important because you can also haste your Phelia. Phelia has this amazing ability where it can scam your Riddler, but it also does so much more. It can like remove your blocker from until end of step. It can remove creature from a play that has a bunch of counters on it, like Psychic Frog or something else. It can kill constructs, other tokens as well, and it can also work sweet with Consign to Memory. So you can exile any non-land permanent and then end step just consign your own Phelia trigger and this permanent stays exiled. So Phelia is not here just because of the Riddler. It also synergizes with Consign to Memory. It also sometimes is useful with Leyline Binding, like you Leyline Binding in the beginning, something like a mana dork, and then later you blink your Leyline Binding to take something more important when mana dork doesn't really matter that much. There are different uses of Phelia in this build. Also, you can always just blink anything on the field to grow your Phelia, make it a larger attacker for the next turns. And Phelia is just a super useful card. In the beginning I had like 2 Fables in this build, and then I tried 2 Overlords of the Bailmerk, and I figured I didn't really need those cards, and I wanted to have as clean list as possible, as consistent as possible, and as much balance between creature and interaction as I can. Okay, so Consign to Memory also can help you turn 3 scam Riddler on the field. So you play Riddler for 2 and Consign the end step trigger, so Riddler that way stays on the field. Or you can do the same thing with Flage, of course. This is the old trick. So Consign very useful in this build. You can use it with Phelia, you can use it with Flage, you can use it with Riddler, and of course on anything colorless opponent plays or their triggered abilities. Okay, so 22 lands I find ideal for a build like this one. And I really like the sideboard. Sideboard is very efficient. I think Graveyard Hate is really important with the rise of Grixis Persist, and Wraith of the Skies as well with the rise of Artifact decks, and High Noon is anti-combo and anti-Cory Steel Cutter decks with 4 Stubborn Denials in the sideboard and a couple of Wear Tears. Okay, so that is it. Before we go to the gameplay, let me remind you of my Decktionary profile. A link is down below in the video description. There's one new sideboard guide here, Chocobo Fable Zoo, my new Zoo build that I had a good run with recently, and have a fresh guide for it, running 2 Chocobos, 2 Nakattles, 2 Fables. You can check the full list on my Decktionary. And three other zoo guides in the zoo tier, with a bunch of other guides in the base tier as always, and separately from that Eldrazi tier with 4 guides for 4 different Eldrazi aggro builds. Okay, so that is it for now. We can now go to the gameplay and see how this deck performed, and this was one truly amazing trophy league, and let's see how it went. Okay, I start with a Leyline of the Guild Pact, a bit slower start. I got only 1 Bolt and 2 Riddlers, nothing special here. And it seems like my opponent is playing Storm, and that is not good news. So I try to get a draw here, get a useful spell to against Storm. I didn't find really what I need, so I'm hoping just for opponent to maybe brick. Okay, so they go for Valakut Awakening this turn, draw basically completely new hand. Okay, I play my fetch and pass a turn, hold Lightning Bolt in case they go for Ral, and I go for Phelia end turn, put a Surveil, put land in the graveyard, and okay, so I haste all my creatures, but I really want to just blink the Riddler, but I haste it anyway because I wanted to haste Ragavan, so it's not a big difference. Okay, so I draw another Bolt and I go in for attack only with Ragavan and Phelia, and Riddler comes back and step, draws me a Flage. Okay, so now I have 2 Lightning Bolts, which can be good if they play Ral, but opponent just was not able to find right combo pieces and they concede. I had a kill next turn. I could haste the Riddler and double bolt them, so that will be enough for a win. Opponent conceded before that. Okay, so I have High Noon, I have Soul Guide Lantern, I have Stubborn Denials, amazing sideboard for Storm, so let's check out how it went. This is not a great hand against Storm, I need interaction. It's a decent hand, just not against Storm. Okay, so this hand is better. I had to mulligan down to 5 to get a decent hand, but this one was fairly good. Okay, so I start with a land. I have Soul Guide Lantern, I have Stubborn Denial, Leyline Binding. This is a decent hand, even though I mulliganed down to 5. It's pretty solid. So I go for a Soul Guide Lantern here. I take the Grape Shot. And pass a turn. Okay, opponent tries to kill my Soul Guide Lantern, but I have Stubborn Denial to prevent that. Okay, so I Surveil, put 1 Flage in the yard, play the Quantum Riddler, draw a card here and pass a turn. So I'm close to escaping Flage. I can also just gem my Ragavan. Next turn I'll be able to play Ragavan and take the Ruby Medallion they just played. Okay, so I take the Medallion and I go for a dash here. Let's see what I get. I get the treasure, nothing, and hit Past in Flames from top of their library. Not the greatest hit for me, but I guess that's okay. Opponent plays Brand's Resolve, land, and they have Desperate Ritual plus Past in Flames for the next turn. Here I find a Stubborn Denial. I have Quantum Riddler I can play. This was risky, and I think this was definitely bad play. I should have went for just Ragavan, dash Ragavan, and maybe just play Flage and put Flage in the yard next turn, prepare maybe to play Flage or something like that. Just playing Riddler here was too risky and not worth it, even though I got to attack for 4. And yeah, my opponent, if I just played Ragavan last turn plus Flage, then I would be able to, my opponent would play a Desperate Ritual, they would go for a Ral, and then they would play a spell here. I would Stubborn Denial this Mana Morphose, and then I would escape Flage with a Reign of Glory and basically hit them for lethal. And they would not have Ral on the field. This way, opponent was, they played a bunch of spells and went crazy, ulted their Ral. I had Soul Guide Lantern, but it wasn't enough. So yeah, my opponent even ulted the second Ral, and yeah, then I just conceded at some point. Okay, so that was game one. I was too impatient in this game one. Luckily, it didn't cost me a match here. I was able to still win the remaining two. Okay, so I start with High Noon, Stubborn Denial. Okay, I go for High Noon here, of course. My opponent has to find Prismatic Ending to kill High Noon. I also have Bolt, Leyline Binding. These are good spells that help me. These spells are pretty good here, help me deal with everything. If they play Medallion, I have Binding, Bolt for Ral, Denial for any of their other important spells. Okay, so High Noon, pretty powerful against them. On the field, I'm only holding Stubborn Denial to counter Prismatic Ending. I don't need it for anything else. Okay, so I can go for a Surveil here and step. I go for Thundering Falls. Here is another Bolt. My opponent is down on a 9. I'm really close to kill here. Opponent plays Vren's Resolve. That means they can't play anything else. So I go for attack with Scion and finish them off with Bolt. And that was match 1. So let's check out match 2. So in match 2, I start first. I start with turn 1 Ragavan. The hand seems pretty solid. I have turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Territorial Kavu, turn 3 Full Domain, and then whatever else I can find. Okay, so I connect with Ragavan here. That is good news. So I was able to play Kavu and have mana open for Consign. I'm probably going to consign the third Urza Saga trigger. Is this, maybe this could be Amulet, or this could be, yeah, it's a Brute Scale combo. So opponent plays Rumble and takes Boseiju in their hand. Okay, so they take Boseiju, and maybe it wasn't necessary to consign the Saga trigger. I could hold Consign for more important spell. It was a close decision. I decided to just use the Consign immediately. I also had Leyline Binding in for other spell permanent based important spells I need to take care of. Okay, opponent here has enough mana to play Kozilek command and kill my Kavu. Maybe it was better to consign this, but it is what it is. Okay, so I lost my Kavu. I still have a Ragavan and Leyline Binding, hoping to find something good from top. I can go for another Surveil on the next step. A lot of good top decks at the moment for me. A lot of good stuff I can find. Okay, opponent is low on mana here, and I'm still in a better position here, but they have a lot of cards. Opponent starts with Ancient Stirrings and finds land. They do still have a Boseiju in their hand. That is one of their 5 cards. So they go, they play the Gru, and they go for Walking Ballista too, and they can now kill my Ragavan. That's fine. I have another Ragavan in hand. In Data Triumph goes in graveyard. Unfortunately, just another land from top. I play another Ragavan, play a fetch, and pass a turn. Okay, my opponent has Basking Root Vala here. It doesn't make any difference if I binding the Brute Scale now. They can just make the spawn token, then block with spawn token. So I just binding in response to them making a token. and yeah, and then play Scion Draco for 4 mana, pass a turn. And unfortunately now my opponent has enough mana to play Emrakul, and yeah, this is a big problem because Emrakul one-shots me, and I have to find immediate solution for it, Leyline Binding from the top. I don't find it, so this is game over against, so Brewscale got the game 1 against me. Let's check out, I won the remaining 2 games, so let's check out how that went. Consigns are great against them, Werther's as well, Breath of the Skies can be blowouts against them too, so yeah, I needed some spots for that, got rid of Leyline of the Guild Pact, trim 1 Phelia, 1 Riddler, and I'm ready to start game 2. This is a decent hand, Ragavan Riddler plus Kavu and Consign, which basically counters all their spells. If I consigned their Kozilek's comment there, it would maybe be a completely different game. Okay, let's see what happens here. I start with turn 1 Ragavan, but opponent has Gemstone Caverns and kills my Ragavan immediately, then goes for turn 2 Brutescale. When they play Brutescale like this, it's usually like a warning they maybe have like a combo kill next turn, so I went immediately for Binding. And yeah, so now I go for Kavu and pass a turn. Opponent has another Brutescale, but this lines up great with my Flage, so I can just play Flage for 3, kill their second Brutescale, and now I untap with Consign to Memory, Quantum Riddler, 1 card in hand. This allows me to draw 2 and put another card in the graveyard. Now I decide to discard and draw another card. This again gets me 2 cards. The Riddler is so amazing. So I just got 4 cards here for 2 mana. And yeah, that was so powerful. Okay, so I have a Flage from the yard. I can escape it. I put Phelia in the yard. I can escape Flage. That doesn't get me the win immediately, but it seems pretty impossible for opponent to get out of this one. And it's time for game 3. So I have double Ragavan, Phelia and Riddler. I can go for turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Phelia, try to scam Riddler on the next turn. Consign is a great draw. Okay, so I go for Steam Vents here, play Ragavan. So because of the Riddler mana cost and Consigns, double Steam Vents is mandatory in this mana base. This is the significant difference from other mana bases, zoo mana bases from my channel. Okay, so opponent chumps my Ragavan, passes the turn. Now they go for probably Wastecape Battle Mage, bounce my Ragavan. That's totally fine. This clears a way for me to scam the Phelia, try to draw something else. Okay, so yeah, here it goes. I go for a Riddler anyway, and I'm hoping to draw another Steam Vents or a fetch. Here is a fetch, that is great. So I go for a Riddler scam, and now I hold Consign for their turn. We trade for creatures, but now I have Riddler. Riddler is a great attacker here, and I have Consign for anything they try to combo on their turn. And when I untap, I have so much interaction. Werther's, bindings, yeah, the hand is amazing at the moment. Okay, so I go for attack, start attacking with Riddler. Opponent is down on 13. I play one of my Ragavans and pass a turn. Plenty interaction here. Opponent tries to go for a Kozilek command here. I think I'm happy countering the command and still having Werther and binding for their turn. Okay, opponent goes for Brutescale, tries to equip, tries to use ability to make an infinite Brutescale. In response, I get a full domain and binding their Brutescale. I didn't want to use... I wanted to connect with Ragavan I wanted to go through with damage, and that is why I didn't use Werther here. Okay, so I had some options here, and I decided to just play all my spells, play Werther, play Phelia, even play Ragavan, just to trigger the Riddler to draw 2 more cards on this turn and attack for more damage. Okay, so I go in for Sacred Foundry, I haste Phelia first, then play Ragavan just to get rid of it from hand, then Werther the Blade, and go attack with everything, and again blink the Riddler and draw 2 cards. I have a bunch of damage on the field, and my opponent is able to make infinitely big brute scale with the last card in their hand, but that is not really important since I can just blink the brute scale with Phelia, then kill the blade later. And yeah, I have a little damage here with Flage in hand. Okay, so I go for attack and blink the brute scale. Opponent blocks 1 creature, only thing they can do here. They go down to 2 and I finish them off with Flage. That is a game, so that is a match 2, so let's check out match 3. Came from behind again to win match 2. Okay, so let's check out match 3. I was playing against Energy this time. Opponent starts with Ocelot Pride, and I get my basic. Not sure if they play. Sorry, I did not go for basic. I think most of the builds don't play Blood Moon in the main at the moment, so I think in the game 1 it's mostly safe to just not get basic in these situations. I went for Surveil turn 1 and turn 2 Haste Scion. My opponent is already on 13. Truly terrible situation for opponent. Scion combo sometimes can be just so devastating. Okay, so Consign to Memory could actually be decent here. It can counter the Ajani trigger. Leyline Binding seems important as well. Opponent is down on 9 already, and opponent concedes. Quick concede on turn 3. And Wrath of the Skies, Soul Guide Lanterns, and Werthers as additional way to deal with Blood Moon go in. And yeah, so sometimes I leave 4 Phelia, sometimes I leave 1 Ragavan. Mostly on the play I leave 1 Ragavan in. On the draw I'll have all 4 Phelia in or something like that. Depending on my sideboard. But yeah, that seems optimal. Okay, so this hand is the medium. I think I can do better. So I decide to mulligan, and I keep a hand with the double Wrath of the Skies plus Leyline Binding. No creatures, unfortunately, but it seems pretty solid. Okay, so I'm trying to binding something important, something I can't Wrath of the Skies, and then Wrath of the Skies rest of the board. So in this situation, mostly just trying to like binding the Ajani, then Wrath of the Skies for 1 turn after that. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I go for a Surveil. Get a full domain, put land in the graveyard, binding Ajani, pass a turn. So opponent finds a basic, and this time they Blood Moon me on curve. I can't do much about that. This was a risk I took, and I did not go for a basic on purpose. I wanted to I wanted to risk them not having Blood Moon in this situation and just going turn 2 Leyline Binding, turn 3 Wrath of the Skies, get a basic and Wrath of the Skies. I was risking them having that Blood Moon on that 1 turn, and yeah, they had it this time. Sometimes they just don't have it. And this time I went mulligan on 6. I still had pretty medium to bad hand. And but I kept Flage, and Werther is decent. Werther kills a lot of decent spells, and when I play Flage on the draw first, it can be pretty solid as well. I can kill their Ocelot or Guide of Souls on time. Okay, so I put Soul Guide, Lantern in the graveyard and I get Cyano Draco from top. So in this situation I decided not to haste Cyano Draco because I wanted to play a Flage next turn for 3 mana. And yeah, so I didn't have much else to do with my hand, so just playing Flage seemed best. Opponent had immediate solution for my Cyano Draco combo, and they kill my Leyline of the Guild Pact, but I keep attacking with Cyano Draco. They still have to deal with that as well. And the Quantum Riddler in my hand is about to draw me 2 cards next turn, maybe. Let's see what happens. Opponent plays Ajani and passes the turn. Okay, here is in Data Triumph. That is good. So Quantum Riddler, I can go for a Riddler and draw 2. Let's see what I find. Phelia can be quite good against them. And I'm really close to having 5 mana to recast the Quantum Riddler again. Also, I have Leyline of the Guild Pact. I can play this to get the Scion combo again. But opponent has a double discharge to deal with my Scion, so that wasn't necessary, let's say. Okay, so in this situation, I'm missing 1 card in the graveyard to escape Flage. So I'm happy just playing Phelia this turn, and if it dies, I will escape Flage. If it doesn't die. Okay, so I play Phelia in response to Voice of Victory. They kill my Phelia, that's totally fine. This is the last card in their hand. And okay, so they get a bunch of tokens here. With Ocelot Pride, it still doesn't let them get out of gets to win around my Flage. They have to find a removal for Flage immediately. So I kill Ajani first, I kill Ocelot Pride, I gain a bunch of life and put them down to 4, and opponent didn't draw anything and decides to concede, so that was match 3. Okay, so match 4, kind of a weird hand, double Consign, double Bolt and 1 Phelia. Let's see what are we up against. I start second, start with the land, pass a turn. Let's see what opponent does. Okay, so opponent didn't play anything, so I go for in Data Triumph here. I needed that in Data Triumph to try to find a full domain here. Opponent goes for Archetrap, so obviously they're playing Mill. I have a Flage in my graveyard and I want to go for other fetch as soon as I can. So I get to find my shocks while I still have them in library and while my opponent doesn't draw another archive trap. So opponent goes for Tasha Hideous Laughter. Tasha sometimes can be pretty bad against Zoo, like in this situation where it only milled 6 cards from my library. And yeah, so now I can go for a Riddler. Yeah, this was I had a I was very close to kill next turn. I did not count on maybe of possibility of me drawing into Arena of Glory. I did draw Arena of Glory in next turn, we will see. Opponent goes for Ruin Crab, mills some more cards, and then goes for another Tasha, mills 9 more. Now I have 11 cards in my library and I draw Arena of Glory from top. If I played another land last turn, like Sacred Foundry or something that gives me white, I could play Arena of Glory right now and go for lethal with Flage. Unfortunately, I did not do that, so I did not have that option. Also, I was missing, I could like blink Ruin Crab and leave my opponent with a double bolt, leave them on 1, but that still Yeah, still it wasn't lethal. Okay, so I play Jace, I play their Jace and draw 2 more cards, pass a turn, but if I only have 7 cards in my library, if my opponent has a mill spell that mills more than 7, this is, yeah, they got the win. Even though I have triple consign, this doesn't mean anything, but yeah, they did not find it, and that was game over. Okay, so consigns don't do much for me. Instead, I bring in stubborn denials, and yeah, basically I don't need anything else. I only want stubborn denials for this matchup and trim 1 Riddler, and I'm ready for game 2. Okay, so I keep Cyano-Jaco plus double stubborn denial. That seems pretty solid. If I could find maybe another land, that would be ideal. I go for a fetch and my opponent has Archive Trap again. Yeah, and that's a good start. And now they can even counter the Cyano-Jaco because I have 14 cards in library. Okay, so I go for a Steam Vents here. I have a full domain. I decided to wait with my mana, possibly Stubborn Denial, something, or play Phelia if they don't play anything. This seemed like a better option than to just let them mill 14 or something like that. So I pass a turn, they go for Fractured Sanity, I play my Stubborn Denial here. This seemed like a better play. Okay, so I go for Sacred Foundry. I don't think there is a need for me here anymore to crack fetches, risk them having another Archive Trap. So I just play my Cyano-Jaco, hold another Stubborn Denial. I can start attacking their life total. Okay, opponent has a Ruin Crab, but now I have a Flage in the yard, and I was able to counter their Ensnaring Bridge. That was really important, and now I have to fetch to play my Flage from the yard. I get the land, and I play Flage, kill their Ruin Crab, and this is now very quick clock. Possibly with a good draw, I can even maybe kill them next turn. Or is this exactly lethal next turn with Ragavan? I think so. It seems like it's exactly lethal. Okay, so yeah, 9 from Flage, 13 from Scion, and 2 more from Ragavan is exactly 15. My opponent has a hardcast Archive Trap, but I just only have to can also just play another Flage from the graveyard for lethal, but here I just dash the Ragavan and go in for exactly 15 damage, and that is another match win against Mill in match 4. So let's check out last match, number 5 trophy match of this league. Deck was really amazing. Quantum Riddler performed a few times, draw a bunch of cards, and I was able to scam it with Phelia often. It was just super good. One time I was able to play it with Kavu on the field, draw 2, and then attack with Kavu, do the draw, discard, and then draw 2 again. And that was amazing. Riddler was just all around such a good card. Riddler and plays well in Kavu because in Zoo, because Zoo empties the hand so quickly, and Phelia is kind of the best additional 2-drop the Zoo can wish for. It does so much, and with consigns in the main deck it's even more useful. Okay, so my opponent tot seizes my Riddler from hand, and then I play Territorial Kavu, pass a turn. Maybe it was better for them to take Kavu there, but they probably had Fatal Push, like you can see here. So opponent goes for Underworld Cookbook. I played against this player for a lot of times, so I know they play Gorios, and Underworld Cookbook is very important for them to be able to, like, on same turn, discard their threat and Gorio it from the graveyard. So it was maybe better to wait with binding, but I decided to take their cookbook immediately. They discard Kraganwick, so they can use a cookbook to discard cards from their hand and then play Kraganvik and then only have one card in hand when they play the Kragan ability, and then it resolves and deals 15 damage to me face. Okay, opponent only gains 3 life here, nothing else. I go for a Riddler, play a land, and I can probably discard one of the Flages, keep one in hand, and here I have Leyline Binding, very important spell, and also it's important that I'm on 16 life, and my opponent plays a Kraganvik deck, which means they can often deal 15 damage with it. So here I was planning on playing my Flage anyway, so that is why I fetched down to 15. Okay, so I think this was the okay. So I can go down to I can go up to 18. I can go up to 18, and this way I'm safe from Kraganvik ability, unless they have a Bolt as well. And if they have a Gorios, I can fetch Sacred Foundry, play Leyline Binding. My opponent did actually have Lightning Bolt, and so in this situation, if they have like Kragan plus Emrakul, they can get the kill at this point, but opponent don't find the necessary pieces, so it's a 1-0 lead for me in the trophy match. So I board in the Soul Guide Lanterns. I want Stubborn Denials, but I want Consigns as well, because I have to worry about Gorios, but also have to worry about Kragan ability, which I can only counter with Consign. So I will have to board in a lot of cards and take out the bolts. Bolts are very useless against them, mostly if they have like Emperor of the Bones and and they can go face, but that's mostly it. So I could probably remove all the bolts. I think that's what I did in game 3. Remove all the bolts from the main deck. Okay, so I keep Binding plus double Soul Guide Lantern, and Kragan is 4 mana, so there is a time until they come to that point. Okay, so opponent plays a Watery Grave, passes a turn. Okay, so I can start with... I go for a Steam Vents because I want to play both Ragavan and Soul Guide this turn. So I go for a Soul Guide first. I want to resolve the Soul Guide. And then I can play my Ragavan. Ragavan can start attacking next turn, providing mana advantage, maybe even some card advantage if I hit well. They have Lightning Bolt for Ragavan, so that's taken care of. Okay, opponent plays a Psychic Frog, passes the turn. I go for a Leyline Binding. If they have like Consign, I can go for a Stubborn Denial. It seems like they do have Consign, and I play Stubborn Denial. I'm not sure why did they... Okay, so they discarded Strix Serenade because they have Kragan in hand, and they are hoping to hit me for 15 with it, so they don't want to hit Strix Serenade with the Kragan ability. Okay, opponent goes for another Surveil land and passes the turn. Okay, so I'm counting on them having the Kraganvik. Okay, so I play another Soul Guide Lantern, I play tapped land, and here I hold Consign, expecting them to play Kragan this turn. Opponent plays a land, and here they go for Kraganvik, only one card in their hand, so I know it's a 15 damage if they resolve this, so I go for Consign. I know what is the last card in their hand, so I crack Soul Guide Lantern here. I have to find... I'm in an excellent situation. There is a low chance my opponent finds another Kragan, like perfectly on curve with nothing else to play. But yeah, of course, that's exactly what happened. And I only find lands and Stubborn Denials from the top. And yeah, here finally I find a Territorial Kavu. Territorial Kavu was great here, and I thought a lot about trading with Kragan in this situation or not. but I thought like I'm probably favored in this position to draw something. I have a bunch of draws. I have like, I can draw Phelia, I can draw Quantum Riddler, another Kavu, and Scion of Draco, a lot of stuff. And all my opponent can draw in this situation is another Kragenvik. So with that logic, I decided to trade, and yeah, so just hold and wait until I can get something from the top. But yeah, opponent was luckier in this situation, and they find Kragenvik from the top for immediate kill. Yargle in the hand for a lethal, so that is the game. I had to win this one in game 3 for the trophy. Okay, so I removed all the bolts in the end, as I said, trimmed the 2 Phelia, trimmed the 2 Quantum Riddlers, moved all the Consigns and all the Stubborn Denials in the main, so now I'm ready for this trophy match. And this hand is excellent. This is a mulligan to 6, but a really good mulligan. So I put one land in on the bottom, and I start with a ley line. Turn 1 Soul Guide Lantern, turn 2 I can haste my Scion of Draco if I want. Yeah, I was thinking about hasting or not hasting, and yeah, so actually in the end I ended up misclicking and accidentally cracking my fetch when I really didn't want to crack a fetch. And yeah, so in the end I ended up just playing Scion of Draco, and my opponent had the Consign. That was really good for them. And now only thing I have is Territorial Kavu. I didn't want to crack fetches because because they play a Kragan, and it's really important to stay above 15 life if possible. But here I go, I crack another one for Surveil, and I find another Scion of Draco. This time I go for Arena of Glory, try to haste it, and my opponent unfortunately has another Consign. That was just such a good draws for opponent. They find Urza Saga there, and now they have 5 cards in hand. That is a lot. That is a lot, and I go for another ability with Cow, and play Flage, deal 3 to them to face, and now they have to worry about Territorial Cow, but also Flage is lethal from the graveyard with Arena of Glory. My opponent can deal with both, and that is a match and a trophy for this sweet Quantum Riddler Zoo build. I will be making a sideboard guide for this version on my Decktionary as well. Hopefully next week it will be online. I'll try to do it as soon as I can. I'm not sure when I'll have time to do that, but I'm hoping by the end of next week it will be there. Okay, so I'm very happy with this sideboard. I spent a lot of time tweaking it. I played this last week, and I started with 23 lands with 2 Fables. Then I played Overlords instead of Fables, and different I had 23 lands. I was so flooded with 23 lands. It seemed like I'm playing 100 lands each game, and I really had to cut the land down to 22. I feel perfect with these 22 lands. I feel like this deck has to play 2 Arena of Glory because of the Riddler and Phelia. It's also so good with Scion and Kavu and Dragavan as well. So I feel like 2 Arena is mandatory here, so you can choose to play to cut 1 fetch or to cut one survey land, but I think I really like having 2 surveils at the moment in this mid-rangier build. In the classic build where I play 21 or 22 lands, I still prefer just going with 1 surveil. Okay, but these are like really small minor details. Okay, sideboard feels perfect as I already said, main board as well. I don't want to change anything at the moment, but I do note that in my testing, Fable in the main board and Overlord in the main board were decent. Nothing crazy, they were like decent cards, but I already have card advantage in Quantum Riddler and Phelia being a valuable 2 mana piece that I felt like I don't need additional card advantage like a Fable or Overlord, having like a Riddler plus Consign and the Leyland Binding was enough interaction for me to play 4 Phelia in the main, and I'm really happy with that. Okay, so that's it. That's the entire video. Hope you liked the video. Hope you liked the gameplay. For the end, friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment down below and tell me what are your thoughts about this build in comparison to other zoo builds. I feel like this could potentially be maybe best zoo build at the moment. The deck is so powerful. It can draw a bunch of cards, but it can also win quickly. It has everything. Phelia is such an interesting piece in this zoo deck where it can clear the blocker. It can do so much. Phelia can really get you out of impossible situations. It can sometimes just blink the blood moon and then consign the end step trigger, or just play stuff while the blood moon is not in the game. It does so much for a deck. I really love it. Okay, so that is it. That's all for today. Again, thank you for watching and goodbye.